This is a brilliant contribution from Dr. Anders Ericsson. He and his associates published the Cambridge Handbook of Expertise and Expert Performance. Now, this graph is a brilliant graph where he talks in terms of influence of experience and deliberate practice on development of expert performance. It's about developing expert performance. So when you train people in a program, it is important that people learn what you teach them, and therefore people get to implement what they learn. But oftentimes what happens is, some people learn some bits of it and then they get on to working. So what you would see, this curve, the lower side of the curve, the associative autonomous curve, which is once they have certain results in everyday life, then they would actually stop without having to review their learnings and what helped them and then move forward. So, however, it's the major 30% of the learners, which we talked about, who constantly tend to get into a reflective experience based on some of those concrete experiences and then conceptualize their learning in order to actively experiment and go about. And that's what leads to expert performance. So I noticed that this can be done by coaching. The performance can be enhanced by coaching in order to bring about the expert performance. And therefore, I said, now this is a brilliant way for me to actually start using my coaching as a follow-up to my training in order to give better results for the corporate organizations that I worked with. And that's how coaching started. And that's where my journey came up. Now, I would actually pick up some of these questions that you people had shared in terms of the transition points and best way to establish your coaching business. We'll take it up after this 15 minutes when Kumar and I together answer some of your questions. The other important piece which also came up to my area was in terms of the CEO's paradox, what we call as the two big E's, which every CEO is looking at in terms of efficiency and effectiveness. So one of the big expectations of every CEO is that the workforce and his managers who are engaging the people would ensure workplace efficiency so that results are being produced continuously and repetitively. Besides that, they also expect their people to not only have greater learning ability, what we call as learnability, to not just adapt, but also adopt good practices. Now, I believe these two are very important areas for coaching. As coaches, we could always leverage, and that's where I focused and started really working on positioning my coaching in those two dimensions to address the efficiency, which is in terms of performance, effectiveness in terms of well-being, balancing, renewing, recreating at the workplace. But the challenge is oftentimes in the Indian context is people are very often closed. While they do look at the efficiency dimension, they are appreciative of the effectiveness dimension, but then people are not open. So seeking is something which is lacking right now. So I think we are all graceful givers, but when it comes to seeking, we are not all that graceful in terms of seeking. So those are some challenges which I do see, and that's something which we need to break as coaches. So that's how my journey started, and that's what is keeping me passionate about going, and therefore I'm committed to being in this business. But also and a half. So I thought I would actually park myself here, come back and look at some of those questions which you people have asked, maybe another 15 minutes from now. So would it be a good time for me to pause here and hand the mic to Kumar here?
Yes, thank you, Sai. Thanks for that. And may I request V.S. Kumar to please start up and share his perspectives and experiences.
Thank you, ICF chapter. I'm very glad to be present in front of you for this very great hour in my career, I would say. And it is very nice that I am also sharing along with the legend in the field, Mr. Sai Ramesh. Thank you very much. As shared by Mr. Krishnan, I'm going to take it in three parts: building healthy and successful coaching practices, Indian perspective, Indian MCC's perspective. We all know about ICF definition of coaching. I just want to share that what is my coaching definition is co-designing the milestones for goals, holding the coaching space for clients' wisdom, freely reflecting their physical, emotional, spiritual experiences, newer perspectives and actions, championing us for realizing their vision. So the point what I wanted to share with you is that the client comes with some goals they wanted to realize. They want to take a choice. They want to know what is that they are supposed to do. That is where the helping people without any judgment and making them to use their own resources and draw resources to reach their vision comes here. And I'm very glad that God has permitted me to have this role in my life. I just want to take 2 minutes in briefing my journey of coaching. Way back, I was around 47 years, now I'm 53. All started 6 years back. I was peak of my sales performance career as a sales head, and there were issues cropping up in the corporate world. I was really shattered. I was having a lot of doubts and discomfort. That point of time, I was just Googling the word coaching. I was looking for somebody to help me out. Then I saw that Dr. Chandrasekhar name appeared, Dr. Chandrasekhar PhD. So I wrote him a mail stating that I'm so and so, I would like to take the support. 2000 late 10 is the time. Then I interacted with him and he said that you better enroll yourself for a coaching graduation. So I got enrolled to ICA. That is the point of time I came across Mr. Bhaskar, and then we were founding the Bombay chapter, and today we are also a charter chapter at Bombay. I did my graduation with ICA. I attended a coaching conference which was held at Bombay. That is the point of time, first time I came across my mentor, Terry Belf. I made a contract of going for a PCC to MCC because that is the point of time I came to know about Mr. Sai Ramesh and also Dr. Nangalia. I felt that every time that as Indian coaches, we want to upgrade ourselves, we want to go for higher credential, we want to know coaching in depth. We need to pay a lot of money. Our timings are so discomfort and we have to change our habits to get the classes done. And the money required for getting higher credential, taking a ACTP program and all are very, very costly. That inspired me that in India, if there are only 1 or 2 people, we should put all our effort and every possible thing so that we can try and we can become a MCC. And my family was a great support. My mentor was a great support. Mr. Bhaskar, Mr. Nagalia, Mr. Sai Ramesh, when he got his credential by, I think before March, he just got it. I was happiest person in the world. Oh, India has got a second MCC. So with that inspiration and all, I went through, and by God's grace, I'm along with you for sharing my journey. I thank the universe for helping me to become. One point what I wanted to take is that the client knows everything. The client has got every resource. My journey is just reflecting that all of us coaches have this opportunity of realizing our own potential in the journey of helping. So when it comes to the second part of the topic, healthy coaching. Healthy coaching happens when the coach is healthy. That is what is that I find that if my coaching coaching business has to be healthy, then I should first become a healthy coach. Having a good credential from a good institute, learning the coaching, being authentic, trusting, adapting, being a continuous learner, having your own coach in your coaching journey, which is an ongoing process, having an abundant mentality and sharing of knowledge. That is what all ICF chapters and ICF credential coach, we would like to do that. When it comes to successful coaching, I look at this way: successful coaching for the perspective of client, successful coaching for the perspective of coaches, we are all. In the client perspective, they expect that we need to be approachable, we need to be honest, and we have to listen to them respectfully, share our feedback without any judging, and championing them for their success, helping them in the coaching space, that they derive their actions, they derive their pathway to reach their milestones and the goals and their vision. So that is what will facilitate in the client point of view that you are a successful coach. This is how I look at it. And when it comes to a successful coach yourself, once again, as Sai Ramesh clearly shared, that we have committed for ongoing learning, and this there is no stop. We continue to have sessions like this where we get the feedback from our mentors, we get the feedback from learned coaches and who are experienced, who have handled so many coaching situations and issues, get their frank feedback, get ourselves improving and sharpening our skills. And when we do that, we really become successful coach by updated knowledge and practice. Now, when it comes to India, as on today, in India, we have got 350 coaches only who are certified by ICF. There are, as on today, 185 ACCs in India, 162 PCCs in India, and 3 MCCs in India, which counts to only 350 credential coaches with ICF. There may be another 500 or 1,000. But when we look at the Indian economy, the training and development business, it is almost a year back 40 billion rupees. But 40 billion is only today tackled by training and development people. They are not actually full-fledged into coaching. And our economy is growing at 8 to 9%. And we are now in a new era. Everywhere the human potential reaching the economic perspective is expected. So every organization, every business, there is going to be a new market, which we all 350 people right now are going to create it. It is not from outside. Some of us are working as trainer. I work in an organization as a trainer and partly for my senior zonal managers and sales managers and GM as a coach. But today the coaching business is majority shared by the training and development people. So we are the 350 people who are going to create this momentum in our country, creating the space which the customers will understand. Yes, it is no more training. It is something a step beyond. And when we are able to do that, when more and more coaching related programs are going to happen, we are going to create more ACCs. And when more ACCs are going to be mentored by PCCs, and PCCs are going to be facilitated for MCCs, there is a lot of community of programs. So with all this in plan, in a process, when we approach it as a team, the coaching business in India is going to be the largest. And I appreciate Mr. Sai Ramesh for coming out of his own ACTP program. So these programs, if we facilitate, we support such a common activity as a team, India also will become a very strong country in terms of coaching and helping people to reach their highest potential. This is how I look at establishing good coaching practices, establishing a healthy coaching practices, establishing a good building of coaching in our country. I thank you very much for the chapter for giving the opportunity to share my journey in coaching. And thank you so much, Mr. Krishnan and Mr. Sai.
Okay, thanks a lot, V.S. Kumar. I think we have a Sai and Kumar. We, I think, have a bunch of questions here on the chat box. I think it's visible to pretty much all of us, right? So between Sai and Kumar, would you like to kind of take a stab at each of these questions?
Yeah.
Right. Thanks, Krishna and Kumar. Okay, I would start off with the first question in terms of where is coaching in India and the road ahead for coaching, which PK had posted on earlier. Now, you guys know pretty well that though we have a little in excess of 350 members on the ICF chapter, the fact remains that there are more than 400 credentialed coaches in this country as on date. Many of them have not renewed the ICF membership for reasons best known to them. These coaches, when we look at the population, the demography, a significant part of these coaches are people who hold full-time day jobs, and they are perhaps internal coaches, and and the rest of them are independent consultants who dabble into training, consulting, and coaching. And yeah, I'm eagerly waiting for the 2050 PwC study. The earlier study published in the year 2009 in that survey which was conducted. I'm sure many of you would have participated in the survey in the recent times. The 2009 study pointed out that more than 70% of coaches worldwide dabble into more than one practice, which was into consulting, coaching, or consulting, training, and coaching, or what do you call it, psychologists, or people who involved in psychological counseling and coaching, writers, authors, and coaching. So these people had multiple practices from where they were generating the income. So the fact is, when we look at rest of the world, the business model seems to be more as commerce to coaches. The coaches all are offering their services as independent coaches. Very few organized coach organization per se, but they were all offering services as independent coaches. And predominantly, I think in the West, the top four consumers, when you look at US, Canada, UK, and Australia. Now, these are the top four consumers of coaching as per the study. And in these places where there is a reasonable level of self-awareness, when I say self-awareness, it's more got to do with the autonomy which people have. So these guys have been sourcing out coaches, unlike a highly parented, structured society like ours, where there's free advice, which is being given in a parented kind of a society. So seeking, which I was saying earlier, is not really very high. So, to have a coach, it's like what Eric Schmidt said to his boss earlier, when his boss did suggest that you should have a coach. So he said, why do I need a coach? Am I not a great performer? I'm a good performer. And I don't think I really need a coach. And coaching is for those people who are not good performers. So that kind of a scenario seems to be there even in corporate organizations when people are offered coaching. So what I really see is, given the new initiative that the Prime Minister of India has brought about, and the business scenarios that is coming up, coaching will be most sought after in the next 5 years. The next 5 years to come, we are going to see, my guesstimate is there's going to be a humongous jump in terms of people seeking coaches. I've been looking at some of the sites where I'm empaneled. On an average, in a week, I at least get to see about 2 or 3 requests for coaching by Indians, people located inside India, who are asking for coaches outside India. So there are requests for coaching which is coming up, and I believe that this awareness will come up. And the average age of these people who have been sourcing coaching is in the range of 23 to 27. So average age, you can say, is about 25-year-old. which means the awareness is there. So I believe this could actually lead to, we might need by 2020, 20,000 coaches. I'm hoping we need 20,000 coaches. Okay, so we are all going to be in big time competition, guys. So Kumar, your views on this?
Yeah, I appreciate, Mr. Sai, what you are sharing is that, after the brief dialogue we had a couple of days back, then I was really looking at what kind of things are happening in our country and how we can create our own image in the coaching map. I find that every trainer and consultant who comes and meets me for some kind of program in our company, everybody has got some model for coaching. So now it is how they want to reach CEOs or the decision makers to influence them that with the word coaching, and then the money also what they demand is quite affordable. I would not say that it is costly. The moment they talk about a common program and they shift their gears to coaching, then totally it becomes one-to-one and executive coaching, all the type of stuff we talk. So I'm very much thrilled to see what is the change that is going to happen and how we are going to make a big impact in the coaching map in India is concerned. Probably that is the first reason, if I permitted to say so, that the ICF president has come all the major cities in our country, and then we had a good programs. So whenever I speak to coaches across the globe, they also are sharing that they are coming to India. So everybody's eyes on India and they want to take their share by doing programs, by having corporate contracts. So I'm overwhelmed the things that are in favor of all professional coaches like us.
Right. Great. So there was another question which came up in terms of what you guys asked, best ways to establish your coaching business. One biggest ever advice that I received from my mentor was, she told me, Sai, now that you got your MCC, go and promote yourself shamelessly. So I was just wondering, what did she mean when she said shameless, be shameless? So, so I started reflecting on that, and I'm sure this would apply to many of us here. And based on which we also did some engagement for the graduates from my institute some time back. So the question which comes is, when you're saying be shameless, the question which comes to my mind is, how many of us who have embarked on this journey of coaching or who have gone through the coach certification program ever got to share with our close network, that you're going through such a program? And when we did a small survey, it was very interesting. Less than 30% of people actually went out and shared what was the program that they were going through, what were they learning in that program, and how their learnings will be impacting the society or the people within their close network. More than 70%, it turned out, didn't bother to share what they were learning and how it could be of use to them and use to others. They never got to share with anybody. Okay, so that's one very important piece. So which means there's a lot of money which we're leaving on the table by not talking about what people are doing within your network. So simple way for me to look at is we are all connected on Facebook with our childhood friends, school friends, college friends, last employment organization, previous employment organization, we are all connected. So it would make sense for us to actually make a list, create your own business funnel, and try and go and talk to these guys, try and engage with them and try and see what is that you can do and how you can promote your coaching practice and therefore how you coach people and build your coaching practice and work on that. So that's one thought which I had when my mentor told me you must shamelessly promote yourself. I think, there is no point in holding back. It's just about going and sharing what is that you have, what is that you can do and how you can go about it. If you're looking at predominantly working in the area of life coaching, now that's one way for you to really look at building your coaching practice by talking to those people. That's one thought which I have. So it's like anybody else's thought now. Likewise, you guys can also think and create your own sales funnel and try and look at, never miss out on an opportunity to coach, never miss out on an opportunity to sell yourself. So the other important piece is, when somebody comes to me and says, I'm looking at becoming a coach, uh, then the first thing which I ask them is, how committed are you and what are you aware about this practice? And second thing is, I have a series of closed-ended questions which I ask them. Is first and foremost is, do you enjoy communicating with people and therefore conversing with people? Uh, the second thing is, do you enjoy educating people about what you do? Then people keep asking me, why should I go and educate people about what I do? I do something for you. I'm a coach. I know what I do. What you do, strategy. Therefore, market yourself, and therefore, are you ready to go out and sell yourself shamelessly? Now, if you say I'm an introvert, I don't think I can do that, then perhaps you may not really generate the return on investment in terms of the money that you're invested in this case. Therefore, it's important for you really see what's the calling for you to get into this particular practice, and therefore how you're going to ensure your return on investment. I'm sorry, I'm having an unstable internet. I need to turn off my video. So that's the other part which we really look at. So those are some things which you really need to think through and plan. So any thoughts, views from your side, Kumar, which you wish to add to that?
It is a multi-dimensional approach. As you rightly said, the first question is, how much committed are you? That is a very powerful question, Mr. Sai. And if we are exploring that, then we will come to know that the motives behind somebody is trying to become a coach.
But many HR practitioners who are in the consulting business today, worldwide, we have noticed that one of the skill set which is lacking in them is selling skills. Well, there are quite a few HR guys who I know are exceptional sales guys in themselves, that they engage very well. To that extent that I know some of my HR friends who have become CEOs of business and who have been successful in that transition. And likewise, I also know many exceptionally good HR guys who are very poor salespeople. My neighbor is the first batch XLRI product. Unfortunately, he chose to retire at the age of 54 at the time, and the last 20 years, he's just been leading a retired life. Each time we get to converse, I sense a sense of regret in him that he was not able to work in the private sector. So it's very clear indicator that many HR guys, lack selling skills. So maybe as coaches, you guys should look at taking up a sales training program, go through a selling skill program to learn how you can promote your wherewithal so that it gets accepted. So make a compelling proposition to the market so that somebody will not say no to what you have to offer. So that's another thing which you can look at. And also the other, my wife keeps telling me that we met in the US. So we do have lots and lots of stuff, but unfortunately we do not know how to write a book about it. So maybe a good place for us to start could be to learn to create your own blog, write your own blogs, get on with some of those things so that you're creating valuable insights. And at the same time, also the best place for you to start for writing your blog could be writing some of your retrospective summaries, or maybe an introspective summary of your journey as a coach, and some of the help that you've done to people, which you could publish, and where people could get to see what your experiences are, and people would want to get attracted to you. So therefore, practice those good attraction principles as such. So that's another thing which you can do to establish your coaching business. The fact remains that there are many more things which we could do in this space. So I thought I'll just share a few of them and then get moving forward. Okay, and there's another question which came up earlier on. This was with regard to the transition points in coaching. There are many niches in coaching and people could choose. For me, the logical extension for me was to get into corporate coaching and executive coaching, which is my space. And now that's where all the money in our country is right now. But the fact remains that the life coaching and personal leadership coaching would be big time bubble. And that bubble is going to be much, much bigger when people start recognizing that companies are no longer going to spend on their personal development, which would be part of the CTC, and people could choose to spend that money whichever way they want as part of the development, where people take up the initiative and driving their own corporate journeys. I see the life coaching area, which will enhance personal work-life balance and helping people become complete, eliminate some of those unhealthy behaviors and develop good, strong behaviors will become a big time business. And I see that coming up as a great area. So a good place for many of us to be would be really looking at the big bucks and working with fewer clients, but the fact remains that your coaching journey is going to be highly visible and to be. Kumar, you want to share something there?
That's exactly rightly said, that executive coaching is now all the CEOs, the people who visit, when we say that we have got a credential coach in our company, the total perspective for the company changes, and then people are ready to invest money on the team. I think that is one area where I'm really seeing a big progress for all of the people who are aspiring to be of their own. And somebody who gets one or two certification knowledge, any assessment knowledge, like you have plenty of assessments and you are certified for that. Like that, one or two selective certification assessment add on to the coaching. Maybe that is what the corporate world is looking at, and that would be easy get through for the programs. That is how I look at it.
Yeah. So the other thing which has actually helped me stand, which has worked for me as a coach, as an executive coach, is my background into organizational behavior and applied psychology. So that's something which has really worked for me, and I find that highly useful, and I time and time again leverage in that particular space. So plus. I was founder member of this organization called NIS, which later became NIS Sparta. So I learned lots in terms of sales management and business management during that particular stint. But my background has been into applied psychology, so application of psychometric instruments, 360-degree feedback tools, besides organizational behavior from the group dynamics, dimensions, and change worked very well. So that's something which has really worked well. And there was this question which has got to do with the return on investment piece. Very visible. The person who's being in coaching. Okay, we have someone who's gone deep into slumber. Okay. Thank you. So I didn't know that I also had this ability. All right. So coming back. So that is on a lighter vein, guys. I thought someone was having difficulty in reading, perhaps snoring there. Yeah. So getting back here, which I was talking in terms of ROI, some of the key areas today, which I was talking about the CEO's bane, being in terms of efficiency and effectiveness. As part of effectiveness, one of the key requirement of every CEO is the ability of the workforce at organizations to not only adapt themselves, but adopt good practices, but also innovate. Innovation is another important piece which could help better incubate and bring about innovations at workplace. For example, you could take them through the critical thinking appraisal, or for that matter, structured six thinking hats model. You could help, or personal thinking pathways. Take them through those models to help them bring about creative breakthroughs. Now, that could be one very good ROI for organization. The other dimensions of ROI, which has also been researched earlier by Merrill Anderson and Diane Anderson, had got to do with the ability of executives and corporate workforce to utilize the time, that work day, 8 hours work day which is available. Now the time which they could use in terms of using it for thinking and using it for actioning and saving times. For example, what Patrick, this guy, what's his name? Patrick Lencioni talks about death by meeting. We do find many instances where time is wasted in meeting. So reduction in time wastage is an area which you could look at. Now that's another area for people. So that's another area where you could really look at in terms of calculating the return on investment, especially in the corporate area. So anybody's guess, you can add as many areas, the productivity dimension, organization, politicking, coding. Therefore, people could actively and also engaging in healthy confrontations, not just keeping conflicts, and then working on that. There's a question: would it be prudent to look at rate of ROE and ROI? Suresh is asking that from coaching. Then ROI from coaching. So are you talking about this as return on return on expectations? Okay. Not in terms of engagement of time. All right. Okay. Well, you could look at from a time-bound, assignment to assignment basis in terms of measuring prior to the assignment and end of the assignment, and you could also have checks and measures in between to look at those dimensions. So that's also possible. It's feasible from an organizational context, and I would imagine that's also doable even in life coaching kind of scenarios. Because these days we do have quite a few people sponsoring people for life. Okay, it looks like somebody's had a very long day, guys. Okay, so that's some of the things which I could think of. I guess I've covered most parts of the questions that you guys had asked. Okay, the other important piece in terms of corporates seeking coaching, somebody had asked this question. Now, the reason which I find for corporates to seek coaching is predominantly it's got to do with 2 or 3 dimensions. One is obviously productivity is one dimension. The other dimension which comes up is in terms of development of high pots in organization, the potentials, high potentials, which is a gospel truth. And another area which I find increasingly corporates coming up is they're looking at coaching as a remedial measure. Now, that's something which I discourage, because coaching is not a remedy. Coaching is more development, and it's looking at the immediate future and ahead. So when people do come up for remedies, I don't accept it, because I don't see coaching can do anything. If you already decided that the guy is no good, you want to let him go, then you would rather let them go than to have them in a coaching engagement, and then it's difficult for you to actually engage with them and therefore bring about a behavioral change when somebody is particularly on what you call as performance improvement plan, PIP. So less than 90 days or 60 days, and then they expect you to pull a rabbit out of your hat. Now that's impossible. So that's something which I see corporates seeking coaching there. So I guess there are lots and lots of work for us to do as coaches. One is to evangelize what coaching is and how coaching could be helpful for corporate organizations, and what kind of a return they could typically expect. In fact, I'm reminded of Suzanne Skippington's study in her lifetime, which she studied. At that particular stage, she established that coaching had returned 527% return on investment as opposed to training. So that's a significant return which you could really look at when somebody is really looking at uh, uh, money. That's it from my end.
Not talking about governments, the all private sector. The good people come 3 or 4 years, they try to just change the company for whatever reasons. So the challenge for the organization is, once they join, keep them motivated and get the best performance in the first 3 or 4 years. Probably that is going to be the shift that I'm seeing. So there, this kind of support, including in the CTC, as you rightly mentioned, for a senior people, are going to be a big business avenue. And one more question I saw in the screen is that how 350 of the coaches or 900, what you added to it, are going to take care of, because the market is going to be very big. And this chapter, which we started in the month of June in Bombay, and within the 6 months period, at least there are 10 or 15 uh, corporates who approach ICF chapter and chapter president. All are empaneled in ICF chapter, and you are there. I'm sure that the opportunities are going to be plenty. So this is going to be increase exponentially, because there is ICF logo and there is a credentialed platform which is available for the corporate to come and take our support. I think that is a big avenue which is getting open.
Software for coaches. This was a question which was asked for enhancing coaching ability. Now, I think that's a huge potential which is there for people to tap. I'm glad that somebody is thinking already and asking those questions. Well, it's a matter of time. That's all I would say, before a great software would be available to coaches to use in their works of life. And there was this question about PCCs to MCC mentoring importance. Well, Jayachandra is asking now. Mentoring is a very important piece all throughout because ICF does not recognize. As of today, ICF is still in conversation with, to accept the European practice of what we call a supervision, which happens in mentoring and in the behavioral facilitation space. We have supervision. So supervision important work has been done of supervision. So some people will be aware of the 7 coaching conversations here. So it's a matter of time, and mentoring or supervision plays a very important role, not just from PCC to MCC, but for everybody. I think one important piece for every coach to adopt is to adopt a supervisor or a mentor. It means that you will have to pay money. Yes, it's a professional engagement. If you're charging money from your client, then you should also be, as part of enhancing your professional ability to engage with a supervisor or a mentor, so that somebody is actually able to help you manage your coaching process better. Somebody who's there to help you to do both an introspective summary and a retrospective summary on your coaching engagements with your client, so that you could generate and deliver better value. Jayachandra is asking me this question. I think on the ICF page, there's a huge write-up on supervision, mentoring, and ICF stand on the supervision. Jayachandra, I would urge you to review that. That's one important piece. And I'll actually take this quick question on importance of, ideas to evangelize coaching. I think one of the key things for you to evangelize coaching is to actually look at your own ecosystem and your cycle, where you people say no to what you have to offer. Maybe another day we'll have to spend time to really look at how we could evangelize coaching and therefore build a coaching business. Yeah, Krishna, we are coming to the end of the time.
Yes, we are
thanks, Bharti, for joining also.
Bharti's asked for 1 more minute. Yes, we can have 1 more minute, I guess. Yeah, if we are done, we are done. Otherwise, I think...
I think I would like to thank you and acknowledge all of you guys at the chapter at Bangalore, outside Bangalore. I see a few names from Chennai as well. So thank you guys from Chennai, Bombay, Hyderabad, Delhi also. I see some people there. So thanks to the ICF Bangalore chapter. And I would like to acknowledge all you guys for having invited us to this conversation. So I loved thanking you. I loved conversing with you guys. Thank you all once again.
Half a minute to VS for any concluding remarks.
Thank you, Mr. Sai. It was a very enlightening program that I could share along with all our colleagues and the chapter members. Once again, when you want to pass on the credentials, the credentials also has a requirement that you should get 10 hours of coaching feedback from your mentor coach who has got a higher credential. So actually, once we engage ourselves, then naturally, the kind of improvement that we should make comes very visible with the feedback that we are getting from our mentors. I would definitely appreciate that everyone should have, even after MCC, even after any other credential that is going to come in the near future, I don't know. But having a mentor for our own self to evaluate ourselves and to improve ourselves is a very good habit. And that gives a lot of courage for you to walk through the tough waters. And I'm thankful for once again to the chapter and once again Mr. Sai, who was a great inspiration for me to get into the journey of MCC, and Bhaskar Natarajan, ICF, for giving me this opportunity. Thank you so much, Mr. Krishnan, and the president of chapter. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you very much, everybody, for being on this call. I know we had other choices and we have chosen to be here and spend a valuable hour here with the chapter. Deeply appreciate your time and your interest in our activities. Looking forward to seeing you again. Next month, we are planning another event. So watch this space for more news. We'll be emailing you. Thank you very much. Hemant, do you have anything to say as we sign off?
Nothing, Krishna. Just a big thank you to everyone, the speakers of this evening, all the audience, and also to you, Krishna, and your team. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you for being on the call. Thank you so much.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.